Warning, due to the graphic nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised. Anchors away, motherfuckers! Wabba-lubba-dub-dub, motherfuckers. What is going on, everyone? It is I, everyone's favorite jack of all trades, with the foul mouth, come to urban. And welcome back to another awesome fucking video, guys. I greatly do appreciate it. And before I do dive into this bitch, I want a big special shout out to all of you guys, my fans and my viewers and subscribers, for sticking around watching this shit. The reason why I fucking do it's for all you guys, so yeah. Anyway, this is going to be my continuation of my 74th anniversary tribute to the legendary SS United States, my favorite ocean liner of all time, and sadly probably going to be her last anniversary if the Conservancy doesn't do anything they can to get her moved before September of 2024. So it's looking pretty dire, guys. So anyway, today we're going to continue on with the discussions of the machinery of the ship. Before I do, I'll show you guys. Here's a drawing I did of what she looked like as a person. Here's another one I did in kind of a little bit more of a different style format. Of course, my travel agent's portrait. And of course, my 1/600 scale model by Revell that I built. And if you guys do want to see the fucking building series for that, it is on YouTube, so you guys can fucking check it out if you guys want to. Anyway, sorry guys. Fuck. Anyway, we're going to continue on talking about the amazing machinery of the SS United States. The last video I did of this, we talked about the ship's boilers, and now today we will be discussing the ship's engine rooms, which, you know, there ain't a lot to talk about the engine room, but there's still enough here maybe I could just do some discussions on. Right here it says the engine rooms. Both engine rooms were essentially identical. Each engine room contained two sets of high-speed double reduction gear turbines, one for each propeller shaft, consisting of one high-pressure and one low-pressure turbine, and connected with flexible mechanical couplings. Each engine was controlled separately with its own maneuvering control board. The maneuvering control boards were nearly identical forward and aft. And the maneuvering control board photos, the spoke chrome-plated wheels are the throttle valves, which control the volume of steam entering the turbines. The larger wheel was the ahead throttle, the smaller the astern throttle. The smooth third wheel was for the astern steamline guardian valve, which had to be opened first before turning the astern throttle. The astern throttle was a simple valve, whereas the ahead throttle used a more precise method of control. The ahead turbine was manually controlled by cam-operated nozzle valves, whereas the astern turbine throttle valve was a manually operated balanced piston type. In the steam lines to the throttle valves, a steam strainer was fitted, with only the ahead throttle valve mounted on the turbine body. The astern throttles and guardian valves being mounted separately. The throttles and guardian valves are connected throughout a stiff rack and pinion linkage. With each incremental turn, the cam opened operated a lifting mechanism emitted additional steam to the turbine nozzles. These valves varied the amount of steam emitted to sequential stages of the high-pressure turbine. Before any steam actually reached the engine, the wheels required several free turns first. Engine order telegraphs were just above and between the throttle wheels. Now, in this photograph here of the forward engine room, which is frames number 145 to frame 160, Unit 1 maneuvering board is to the right, is for the starboard forward outboard engine. This particular obscure Unit 4 to the left is for the port forward outboard engine. The engineer's log desk is here at the center. under the ventilation ducts and was proverbial water cooler of the room. All gauges currently read 0. This was courtesy of James Renflesh. Now this photograph here, the aft engine room from frames 223 to 238. Port side maneuvering board with the starboard one partly visible. Partly visible is kind of fucking dark. The aft boards had an extra set of engine telegraphs below the throttle wheel so that the aft engine room could tell what the forward engines were doing. The photo shows a telegraph was left at stop while the other was left at finish with engines. Unit 2 on the right is for the starboard aft inboard engine. Unit 3 on the left is right here is for the port aft inboard engine. This view is looking forward, and the space between the two maneuver boards shows the watertight door handwheel for the entrance to the aft boiler room, courtesy of James Renflesh, circa 1984. And there is the watertight door. Now this photograph here, it says here it is a view of the aft engine room showing the starboard Unit 2 maneuvering board. The bottom half of a Worthington Company derating feed water here can be seen to the right, which would be that fucker right there. The silver tank behind the maneuvering board is an air ejector condenser, and this was courtesy of James Renflesh, circa 1984. There's a view of a low forward end of a low pressure turbine. Each shaft was driven by a combination of a high pressure and a low pressure through double reduction gears. One of the 4 Westinghouse 60,000 SHP plus turbine gear engine sets. The larger low pressure turbine is on the right and obscures the smaller high pressure turbine behind it. The reduction gear housing is to the left, and the walkway straddling the turbine gear is for inspection purposes. And this is an identification plaque from one of the low pressure turbines. Normal rotational speed, it says, for this turbine is about 3,658 RPM before reduction. Also from the James Renflesh collection. Now finally, we should talk about the shafts and bearings and the propellers. Okay. Steel shafts were used to transmit power from the reduction gear set to the propellers. These shafts were made up in hollow sections in 2 different lengths. 4 sections about 20 feet long and the remaining sections about 40 feet long. They were 25 inches in outside diameter and 18 inches in inside diameter. They were construction of chrome nickel alloy steel with an ultimate tensile strength of 130,000 pounds per inch. When assembled, each shaft was hundreds of feet long and needed to be absolutely straight. Thrust was accomplished by the use of steady bearings which clamped the assembly down. Whenever these shafts passed through the bulkheads, watertight stuffing boxes were provided. At the point where the shafts passed through the hull, watertight bearings were necessary. These sections, known as tail shafts, and increased to 27 inches in outside diameter with the same inside diameter as the line shafts were supported on 2 bearings. The forward bearing was 8 foot long and the aft bearing was 15 feet long. These tail shaft bearings were constructed of lithium vitate, a very dense and oily tropical wood that could support the tremendous pressures involved and were resistant to rot. See, there's more wood on board the ship than what most people thought. Due to the obvious danger of these areas, vertical escape trunks were provided within each shaft alley, which allowed personnel a way out if watertight doors were closed. The shafts, propellers, and rudder were the most vulnerable areas with regard to accident potential. These areas were inspected hourly and the staff was trained to check bearing temperatures and to listen closely for unusual sounds, especially in shallow water. A swishing sound meant something was nearby. Scraping or crashing sounds indicated the propellers or hull were in contact with something other than seawater. Any excessive vibration was of great concern. Damage to these parts was serious business, usually meant that the vessel would need to be taken out of service and dry dock. Costly proposition in many ways, such damage occurred on several occasions. Even a cribbing cruise was canceled after the propellers were damaged. And that's one of the pictures of one of the tunnel shaft alleyways. And then finally the ship's feet. the propellers. Throughout the life of the liner, several sets of propellers were constructed for the United States. Gibbs & Cox employee Elaine Kaplan, actually her name was Elaine Schooley Kaplan, used her mathematical expertise and experience gained from designing Navy ships to perfect the propellers. After several experiments, she and her design team settled on a setup that allowed the propellers to handle the thrust from the engines while lessening cavitation that would cause teeth-rattling vibration at the stern. The propellers were always kept very hush-hush, an attempt to hide the fact that the two inboard aft propellers were 5-bladed and the two forward outboard propellers had 4 blades, one of the many keys to the vessel's superior performance. Every year during the annual dry docking, the propellers would be removed and sent in for reconditioning. These would be altered with the set reconditioned the year before. Propellers were both right and left-handed and were designed to turn outboard for a head motion. Originally constructed of magnesium bronze, each was 18 feet across. Though the magnesium bronze propellers had better performance, they tended to crack and curl at the trailing edges. As a result, they were switched to a more durable nickel aluminum bronze in 1959. And there's a picture of a propeller there. And there's a picture of the portside propellers with the ship in dry dock. And now finally we will talk about the steering gear, or the ship's rudder. The steering gear was located aft from approximately frames 315 to 345 on what was known as the steering gear flat, which was equivalent to sea deck level. The rudder post was turned by 2 large hydraulic rams manufactured by the Ledger Wood Manufacturing Company. With the vessel moving ahead at high speed and at full load draft, the rams were capable of moving the rudder from hard over to hard over, a range of 70 degrees in 30 seconds. When steaming with full stern power and a full load draft, the full swing of the rudder took 60 seconds. The rudder was approximately 40 feet long at the base and shaped to fit the shape of the hull. The rudder was mounted on the center line and was of semi-balanced type, mounted just aft of the inboard pair of propellers. The bridge steering wheel was connected electronically to the hydraulic ram, but in an emergency and a failure of the 2 independent power plants, the rudder could be turned manually. However, due to the mass of the rudder, the manual control was a wheel located in the steering gear room, was geared so low that virtually hundreds of turns were necessary to move the rudder even 1 degree. Reportedly, when the United States was being prepared for towing to Turkey in 1992, the rudder was about 4 or 5 degrees off center, and in order to get it aligned for towing requirements, several hours of manual adjustment. And there is the diagram. So there you have it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that little bit about the ship. And I'll probably do one more video about the ship, so hope you guys enjoy it. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and shit. And until next time, it's Commodore Urban saying a smooth season, clear skies. Happy sailing with you. God bless you all. Take care. Stay safe. Be yourselves. And until next time, catch you on Won't Trade Win. Put ahead one nose and let's go, Brandon. Fuck Joe Biden. Trump 2024, baby. And God bless the SS United States. Thank you and so long.